starting off a little bit differently because we are actually in my car. Surprise, surprise. We're also outside of CVS because there's actually this new brand called Joah Cosmetics or something like that. It's supposed to be K-beauty inspired, and I saw it the other day when I was in here and I was like, oh my god, I really want to check them out. They have foundation, they have everything, like they have a whole gondola. So I was like, I think I need to check this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk into CVS. You're gonna see something a little bit different, more of like a vlogging style type of video, and hopefully we're not too awkward in there because I've never vlogged in public, so this may be a little weird, but let's just try to be as natural as possible. So let's go ahead and go inside. This is what it looks like. As you can see, CVS/pharmacy, and we can just go ahead and get the party started. So if you want to continue watching, then please go ahead and do so. So I just found the movie setting on my camera. Wow, I am so smart, right? So I'm gonna share with you guys what I purchased at CVS. You guys did see me go into CVS because of the Joah Cosmetics, Joah makeup, whatever it's called, K-beauty inspired. So I didn't spend too much money, which is good. I stayed in the 30s range, which if you're buying makeup at CVS nowadays, it's expensive. You can spend up to like $50 with just like a few products because we're moving up in this world with the drugstore makeup. So the first thing I purchased was the Joah makeup Truly Yours Natural Finish foundation drop, which I'm really excited about. They didn't have that many colors, which I was kind of like, what are you doing? But I did pick this up in the sun beige color, and we will be reviewing this. Let me go ahead and turn off my windshield wiper so that doesn't disturb you. It is raining right now. But I'm really excited. I hope this works out. This is a cool new foundation, so it's always cool to see new products in the market. The next product is my Joah Selfie Ready Setting Spray. This is the matte setting spray. I'm excited because I feel like it's hard to find good setting sprays at the drugstore, especially matte setting sprays. So this is really cool. They also have one for people that want that dewy finish. They had a matte primer, a poreless primer, and a radiant primer. But I didn't see the one for poreless or matte because they're sold out, of course. There's so many oily sisters in this world that like they probably all pick them up. But I will definitely be on the lookout for that one at my local CVS. Hopefully they have it next time I come. I don't think I'm going to have that in time for this review because I want to have this up sooner than later. The last thing I picked up was the Selfie Ready Setting Powder. This is in translucent, so it's completely white. I'm excited to see how that's going to do. I'm not the biggest fan of like a pure white setting powder just because I feel like when it's pure white, it can give me a white cast or like flashback and all that. So we'll definitely be testing it out for that. But that's just something to note. You guys know that I love to bake my face, and I love to do that whole like very matte that very matte set look. So I'm hoping that this will be something that can win my heart. It wasn't that expensive either, so it'd be really cool if I found something that was actually good. This one, I think, how much was it? This was $9.29, but I did have some coupons, so I was able to save some money. So it ended up being $7.90. And then the foundation was originally $9.29, but I saved $3.76 and got this for $5.53. And then, what else did we get? The setting spray was $8.29. So they're actually pretty reasonably priced considering that they are a new drugstore brand. Usually drugstore makeup is kind of like in the $14-15 range. Like a lot of Maybelline's foundations are like $13. So they're kind of stepping up their price just a little bit. But this is pretty reasonably priced for a drugstore brand that's just starting off. So I'm really a big fan of that. Then the last thing I got that I saw out of the corner of my eye and I was like, let me snatch this up, is this Cetaphil Extra Gentle Daily Scrub. It's kind of like an exfoliator. It is new to Cetaphil, so I'm really excited to see how this is going to do. I don't usually exfoliate my face just because my skin is extremely sensitive, so I kind of do other alternatives like masking with masks that can help my skin kind of brush off any of that dry or like dead skin. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to do. Also, Cetaphil is a great brand for people that have sensitive skin and rosacea, so I am excited about this one. So that's all for the little haul that we did here in my car. I'm still standing outside in CVS and there's people walking around probably thinking I'm crazy, but oh well, that's part of the life, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys in my beauty room with better lighting, better situation, better sound system, so we can go ahead and start this review. So if you want to continue watching, then please go do that right now. Hi guys, so I am back in my good old setting and now I'm ready to just put these beautiful items to the test. And we're going to be trying out, like I mentioned, the Joah makeup. And I do kind of quickly want to do a little bit of research on this brand because I don't really know much about it. All I know is that they are new to CVS and that they are K-beauty inspired. It says that it's ultra affordable, which I agree with. And they're going to have it on select stores like Costco, Ulta, and CVS. But I've only seen it at CVS. I have not seen it at Ulta. Let's see what else. So Joah is named after the Korean word that translates to I like it, which is pretty cool. And the majority of which retails for less than $10, which is really awesome. They do have a lot of awesome liquid lipstick products, and they just have a lot of really good stuff. So I'm excited. I hope that this works. And I have to say that I am really impressed with their packaging and how the gondola looked when I was in CVS. You guys saw in my little vlog portion of this video that it looked pretty cool. So looks nice. What we're gonna go ahead and do here is we're gonna start off with the foundation. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and take my primer that I currently have, that I currently use, and that is the Milani Prime Shield. I love this stuff. I've been obsessed with it. I'm gonna get a lash fill, so my lashes look super full right now. I kind of want to do a video on my lashes. How would you guys feel about that? Like on lash extensions, how I take care of them, what they are for some of you guys who may not know, all that good fun jazz. I've just been really like obsessed with them. I feel like I've also given myself a break from doing a lot of eyeshadow and kind of keeping it more simple here on my channel because you guys know that I like to do the drama. So let me roll up my nice warm sweater. And now that we applied our primer, we can go ahead and start off with the foundation. So this foundation is a natural finish. It's supposed to be a foundation dropper, like so. I do have to say this foundation range isn't the largest. I'm very disappointed with it. When I was looking at it, I was like, what the heck is this? Also, I feel like sometimes these glass packaging containers can make the foundation color from the outside look different than what it actually is on the inside. So that's just something to note. But I did pick up some beige, which is the second to darkest color that they have. But when I saw that, I was like, Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with this side. Right here, I have to say I'm really impressed with my skin lately. It's been acting very well, which is great because my birthday's coming up and I'm trying to have beautiful skin on my birthday. I'm not trying to have any like crusty looking skin. So mama is pleased. Like always, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my makeup sponge on this side, and then I'm gonna use a brush on this side. So that being said, we're gonna take the dropper. I'm not the biggest fan of these things, but hey. Okay. Ooh, this shit is runny. This is runny. We're running. Okay. Let's just see how this goes. It does look a little bit light. Ooh. Okay. That looks light. Let's just see how this goes though. It's blending out nicely, I have to say. It looks very fresh. Very radiant. It actually covered way more than I thought it would cover, considering how runny this is. It's very liquidy consistency. But on the face, it doesn't look as wet as it does look on the back of my hand. So that's just something right there. I do have to say I thought it was going to be a lot lighter, but it's actually not too far off, but it definitely is a little bit on the lighter side. It feels very weightless. Man, it sucks when brands do this and they just come out with such a limited amount of colors. And I don't know if it's maybe because this is a Korean brand that they don't have such a huge color range. I noticed that whenever I've seen certain Korean brands here in the US come out with colors, they come out with very limited, you know, colors for medium to deep complexions. And I think it's because they don't really have those colors in those countries, but you have to put into consideration that if you are going to be selling your product in a place like the United States, which is extremely diverse, you need to offer color range. It's very buildable, but it still looks like skin. It doesn't look cakey. It feels like skin too, which is something that I've been a big fan of, foundations that just feel like skin, that don't feel like you're wearing all this product, because we don't like a product that, you know, feels really heavy. I'm gonna take this little brush just so that I can kind of get in. When you have lashes, you kind of have to be careful. Okay, so this is with our sponge. It didn't absorb too much of the product, which I am very impressed with. I feel like sometimes foundations that are extremely liquidy and runny tend to absorb a lot of the product when we have a sponge like this that is damp. I haven't used a very runny consistency in a while. A lot of foundations that I've tried this year have been more of like a creamy texture, a little bit of thicker texture. They haven't been as runny as this. I like to stay away from runny consistencies just because I have oily skin. So for me, whenever I have something that's too runny, I'm like, But it does look pretty. I have to say, my cheek looks very pretty, but I feel like I'm seeing it look lighter. We're gonna be doing this side with my Delium Tools Precision Kabuki brush. We're gonna be taking the foundation and we're gonna be going again with it. You can see it's a runny consistency. Like so, running. And then we're gonna just go on this side. Like, I just feel like that is so light. Ooh. I probably would have been the darkest color now that I think about it. Isn't that crazy, man? It's crazy. It's 2018. It's about to be 2019 and we still can't get it together with color range. With the brush, it covered right away. It does have a very radiant consistency. It's not like greasy looking, but you can see the radiance right there. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more product because I feel like we didn't add as much product as we did on this side. So I'm just gonna go in with a little, like a drop more, just so we can kind of get the same outcome. But I honestly feel like with either or, the foundation looks good. I feel like if you want to apply it faster and just get it on there quicker, probably with the brush, just because it's bigger and you can kind of cover more space. But if you kind of want to like build it up and get that more like skin-like finish, I would go in with the sponge, because I feel like the sponge side, definitely I had to like build it up. So I feel like either or, it applies fine. I'm not seeing a huge difference right here. I feel like it looks very healthy. I feel like on this side that kind of already set because we've had it for a few minutes longer than this side. I'm seeing it look kind of more of like normal. It's not looking like too luminous, but it's not looking matte. It's just looking like a normal finish, which is good for, you know, for somebody that wants to try this foundation because it's not so heavy and more natural, but it still gives you like that happy medium where you're not like, ooh, this is too greasy, or like, ooh, this is too matte, you know? It looks good. So we're just gonna wait for this to set, but overall, I mean, I have to say, I'm gonna bring this mirror closer. I'm not seeing it cling on to any areas. Like, it's not clinging on my forehead. It's looking pretty good. Up close, it's not like enhancing any of my textures that kind of look more enhanced from time to time. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come on camera and do my under eye concealer so you guys can see me bake, and also set my face with the powder, because I'm curious about this powder. You guys know it's always fun to find new powders that may work at the drugstore, because, you know, a lot of the powders that we do enjoy are very expensive. So it's cool to find alternatives at the drugstore. So we're gonna test this out. And then lastly, we can do the setting spray on camera as well. So I'm gonna finish up my face, look a little bit more snatched, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my Laura Mercier, I think Ultra Long Wear Flawless Fusion Concealer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some concealer right on my eye, just like a triangle form. This is one of my favorite concealers. It is so good. And now we're gonna be taking my sponge once more. I love concealing. I feel like concealer just like completely makes the biggest difference. So, yay for concealer. So we have concealer on this eye. So now we're gonna be taking the Selfie Ready Setting Powder. This is in translucent. It's very white, so I'm kind of nervous because I kind of like when it's kind of like an off-white, because I feel like this can give me bad flashback. So let's see how this does. Feels very fine. I'm just targeting it right. I'm just targeting it right where I get those creases. So like right where the crease lines are. Feels very lightweight, I have to say. It doesn't feel very heavy. Let's see if it smells like anything. No, it doesn't smell like anything, which is probably a good thing. So I don't know if you guys can see, but on this like lower area right here, you kind of see that already made my skin look kind of more matte. So this may be a good situation. Something doesn't work well with my concealer, I'm like, thank you, next. How many of you guys have listened to it so much that you just are like done with it? That always happens. You listen to a song so much on repeat for like days, and then you're just like, oh my god, I can't. Actually feels more fine than my Airspun powder, which is very interesting because you guys know I love me some Airspun powder, but this feels very, very fine. And they do have some other shade. I think they have like 1 or 2 more shades that are a little bit more like tinted. But I always like to just go with translucent when I'm first trying something out for the very first time, because I kind of just want to see how the formula works. And then if it works well, then we can branch out to like tinted ones. But yeah, we're gonna have to see how this goes. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is just finish off doing some blush and stuff, and then I'm gonna come back so we can dust away this powder. So I thought the camera was on, and it wasn't on, so I already went ahead and dusted off this. But basically what I did is I dusted it off, and I just dragged whatever leftover powder we had and kind of took it up here, and then I also took it down here, just kind of everywhere where I tend to get oily. But before we move on to the eye that you guys haven't seen me dust off, I have to say it's looking really good, and it's not looking cakey or thick or like feeling, you know, when it feels super like dry. It doesn't feel dry, my under eye. So let's go ahead and do this eye for you guys. Okay, do you see how quickly that just went off? And how nice and smooth the under eye still looks, even though we did leave that powder on for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I can tell right away if I like a setting powder by the way it sets, and it looks so perfectly airbrushed on my under eyes that I am really living for this. So it just looks so good right here. And I like how I could use the rest of the powder on my T-zone and on my smile lines where I tend to get very oily. So that's a positive thing. Do you guys see how good those under eyes look? Like, they just look really good. And they don't look dry, they don't look nasty, the skin doesn't look cakey with the foundation and the setting powder, so that's a good look. So the last thing we're gonna do that is from the products that we purchased from Joah makeup is the setting spray. So this is the matte setting spray. They also do have one for oily skin, so if you do have oily skin, you can find yours there as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I always like to spray it out first, because this can play you if you just go straight in with it. So I am going to go ahead, and it does have a scent, very fragrancy. So that kind of scares me, because you guys know me, I have very sensitive skin. Oh shit, it does have some alcohol in here. Okay, let's just pray that this doesn't F up my face. Okay, I really went in with it. It worries me because it does have that fragrance scent. It is pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. It smells very good, luxurious, but it is strong, and I don't do well with scents, so we'll have to see how this goes. How does it feel? How does it feel? It doesn't feel like some setting sprays that are matte that as soon as you apply that, it kind of locks everything in. It still feels kind of like hydrating. Right now my skin does look a little wet, so I just kind of need to fan it out to see how this is gonna do, but it's not too bad. So that's a good thing. I feel like the setting spray, applying this on the skin, made the foundation look skin-like. You guys know that we went ahead and powdered it. Sometimes powder can make it look a little bit more like you have foundation on. It doesn't look cakey whatsoever, but it definitely looked like we had foundation on. But now I feel like everything kind of like meshed together perfectly, and it looks more like perfected skin. First impressions, I have to say, the products look very nice on my skin. The only downside that I mentioned that I wasn't a fan of was the color range. So I went on to their website, like the actual website that they have, and their color range looked very different than what I saw at CVS. I'm gonna put this image here so you guys can see it, but the color range just looks different on their actual website than what I saw at my local CVS. I think that they are owned by Kiss. I'm pretty sure because I see Kiss up here. I think they're owned by Kiss, which is a very large brand. And I know that they can afford to make a lot of colors, so I'm not understanding why there isn't such a large color range. Overall, right now, I have to say that I really am liking the setting powder. I definitely see myself using this, but I'll let you guys know how it wears through the day. The setting spray, it's too soon for me to make any predictions just because we just applied it, so I want to see how it's going to make my skin feel through the day. But I'm a little bit on the fence because of how much it smells. I'm going to go ahead and then I'll come back at the very end of the day and give you guys my final thoughts on the Joah makeup products that I'm testing out. Okay guys, so I am back. It is now 8:08 p.m. and I'm actually getting ready to go to the gym. So I wanted to end this video on this note because obviously I don't want to work out with foundation and all that stuff. It gets really nasty real quick. So I wanted to show you guys what the foundation looks like on the skin. So I have to say, I'm really impressed with how well this is holding up. You know what I mean? Like, it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I do feel like we are getting a little tiny bit dewy. It's not like too crazy, but I definitely see some radiance peeking through. So I want to start off by talking about the foundation now that we're here. So I have to say the formula is pretty impressive considering it's like $7.58 at the drugstore, very affordable priced. The packaging and everything is very luxurious, which I really enjoy. But like I mentioned, the only thing that's holding me back from like saying that this is great is the fact the color range is limited at CVS. As for the color, we did purchase some beige, but the formula isn't bad. My skin feels very, very nice and comfortable, very skin-like. Now, I have to say that I would probably give this a solid 8, and that's just because the shade range just isn't there for me yet, but overall the formula is pretty good, and I like how it's looking. Now I'm going to move on to the setting powder. So I really like the setting powder. I feel like it gave my under eyes such a beautiful finish. It didn't look cakey whatsoever. Didn't feel heavy or drying, which I am very impressed with. I feel like it's very rare to find something so affordable work really well on our under eyes. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is continue using this, and I will keep you guys updated. As for the setting spray, you guys saw my reaction. I was a little bit nervous when I saw that it had that alcohol, and also when I saw that it smelled very like a fragrance, you know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, my skin, I hope it doesn't get irritated. I do have to say within the first hour, I was noticing that it did feel a little tiny bit itchy, especially on this side. And I kept looking to see if there was like added texture that was coming through. And I did notice a little bit of added texture peek through. So I would have to say this is a no-go for me. I feel like the setting spray wasn't anything spectacular, and if you do have sensitive skin, I would stay away from it because it does have a very like obvious scent. Like as soon as you spray, you can smell it. As soon as I opened it, I could smell this fragrance. So that's just something to know. And I also feel like it didn't keep me matte. I feel like when I sprayed it, usually mattifying setting sprays, as soon as I spray them, I just feel them like lock everything into place and kind of feel a little tiny bit tight, which I kind of like when I'm using a matte setting spray because that's what I'm expecting it to do, kind of just like lock everything in place. But I just feel like this didn't really do that. And I felt like I had to really kind of like fan it out to really get rid of that extra like wet look. So I would say this is not a very positive thing for me, so I would not purchase this one. That's just me. I feel like there's way better setting sprays. Like always stick to the MAC Fix Plus matte version and also the Urban Decay setting spray. Those are my babies. I just feel like this wasn't cutting it for me. Yeah, if you guys did enjoy watching this video, don't forget, big thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Also, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you to become a member of my family here on YouTube because I wouldn't want you guys to miss my videos for the world. And that being said, I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye, guys.